Hello and welcome, and wishing everyone a happy, healthy, and abundant 2024. I've put together a few thoughts about how to get the matrix out of you in 2024, because the matrix is not out there, the matrix is in here, it's in our mind. So get insights and clarity for your own transition during the global awakening of humanity in 2024. So if that's something that interests you, then I can tell you that in 2024, you're about to see an abundance of people wake up to the fact that they are here to support humanity through a profound shift in consciousness, and that they also decide to live a life of self-determination. This is really a revolution of the human spirit. And you can see that already manifesting on all different levels in the external world. About freedom, well, we are free. Inherently, we are free, but not because we claim freedom. We are free because we practice freedom. We practice that what is already within us. And the only way out of the control matrix, out of misery and pain, is to go within, to go inwards, because that's where you can really manifest important and significant change. That's the only way to do it. And therefore, we transform our fears. So this presentation here, those few thoughts, is to get a motivational boost for your own life and your own future in 2024, and for you to experience the liberation from the age of lies, deception, and slavery. Those of you who listen to those words here, they really know what I mean by that. And it's really about appreciating your own privilege of witnessing these present times, because they are special. And also to accept your personal opportunities to live your own freedom, not to claim it, but to live it. So it's about to encourage you to free your minds from fears, doubt, and uncertainties, and improve and stabilize your physical, your mental, and your emotional health. For millennia, sacred writings, legends, and calendars of various cultures have stated that a profound paradigm shift will take place at the turn of the millennium, from the second to the third millennium of our current Western Gregorian calendar. And this will be accompanied by a major change in the human consciousness. All world age changes have always led to major political, religious, and social upheavals, which seem to be an unmistakable sign of our times and represent a transition into the new age. And this goes hand in hand with the downfall of what I would call, or many people call it, the atheistic, materialistic, and even satanic civilization. And again, if I talk about those things, most of you who watch this, they know exactly what I mean. So the features of the current paradigm shift are really to see, for people with eyes to see, and if they look for the external characteristics, and things are speeding up, as we can witness on the outside. There's a push towards what's all being tried to implement it. So apocalypse is really, the age of the apocalypse is really the unveiling of what was so-called hidden. So, and you can see that the globalists or Satanists or technocrats, transhumanists are sort of in opposition to what you could call the patriots. Don't like the words, but you know, we can feel and we can see and we can witness that there are two opposing energetic forces are, I don't like the word battle, but they're opposing each other, if you want. And again, if you have eyes to see, you can see that. We all know, or most of us, are really aware of the massive misinformation or even propaganda via the mass media, and even in the alternative media, they're infiltrated. So it's very important to be aware of your worldview, and is it shaped by, the current mainstream perception, or are you curious and keen to look for different ways of information? And I would really encourage you to do that, not only listening to mass media or one form of media, but get your information from different sources, and then follow your own intuition and discernment. It's really also what we can see, a battle over the future control of the monetary system. It's a centralized system, CBDCs, what the banks and the WEF want to introduce, and decentralized forms of money. It's already there, and we'll see what we can use. I certainly won't be happy to use a centralized form of money. And what we can also see, or have seen in the last 3-4 years, and manufactured pandemics, they're all planned. There's enough evidence for that. And even the wars we see at the moment, and severe weather events. Right now, we have one here on the eastern coast of Queensland. There's also the rise of artificial intelligence. Well, what's wrong today? I've got a knot in my tongue or something. And planned implementation of a digital imprisonment. The digital ID they want to push for, actually 2024, I reckon. So, and features of the current paradigm shifts, internal characteristics, you can say that, well, anything that we can see on the external is actually mirroring something, what's going on in our internal being. It's a shift in consciousness where we can see outside. So I encourage you all for 2024 to create your own harmonious space within and also without in your surrounding, because it's our only sphere of influence. Do what you can do to change, and what you can't change, don't worry about it, because worry doesn't help you. So, and most of us have really a deep-seated feeling that things are not right anymore, that things will shift and change. The world as it used to be before, say, 2020, or even further back, it's not coming back. A lot of people are hoping that the old world will come back, but it's not going to happen. Many of us coming more into alignment with our own creative nature, with our own connection to our aware presence. And the divine speaks through us, through our own conscious, through our own intuition, and through morals. It's so important these days. Try to discern which is right and which is not right. So you need to find a way to trust your inner sense of truth, balance, and coherence. So just to make it clear, the characteristics of mind control programming, or social engineering, it's another word for it, over the last 100 or longer years, most people are conditioned, indoctrinated to blindly obey authority. That's sort of in our genes, but we're growing out of that. The experts, so-called experts these days, or gurus, the politicians, prophets, the boss, police, and so on. So-called authority. We need to come to connect to our own authority. So school and educational institutions are really what I would call indoctrination camps. Institutionalized religions serve to control the masses, there's no doubt about it. Science these days is not really science, it's religious fiction, it's more faith or anything else than science, it's just follow the money, anything money can buy. That's what we call science. Mainstream medicine is a huge business and makes people sick. You should be aware of that too by now. And there's another control system here, the debt-based money system. What it really does, it's live energy printed on worthless paper or on numbers on a bank's computer screen. And that is constantly being parasitically extracted from us. That's how they keep us under control. Because who controls the debt controls the people. And you should know by now also that governments, so-called governments or nation states, are registered corporations, which are really bankrupt already for a long time. So the political system also and the voting system is fraudulent. We know that. So I wonder why people still go and vote for any of those clowns. So the whole system of control is led by perverted, narcissistic, and manipulative psychopaths. Now that's a mouthful, but that's what I think, and a lot of people too. And really, within this whole system of control, people's status is really that of a bonded surety, of a bankrupt franchise. We're bonded. We are the collateral with our birth certificates, but it's too much to explain now. We are the collateral for the nation states, the corporation state. That's a fact. You can research that. And a debtor or a debt slave has no standing and therefore can't make any claims. But characteristics of a living being with sovereign integrity, that's who we really are. We are living men and women with sovereign integrity, is its own authority. We are really moving into being our own authentic author of our own lives. We look within, we trust our intuition and our own wisdom. We should do our own research, we build community of like-minded people, like homeschooling, for instance. We realize deep spiritual truth instead of dogma of organized religion. We need to question, we do question so-called experts or authorities. Just follow the money. We are responsible for our own health, and we implement holistic lifestyle changes. We look for decentralized forms of money, and what we really need to do, we need to build streams of residual incomes to be independent from the system. And that can be decentralized forms of money. We need to learn to live in the private, or at least in both worlds. We need to understand that anything that is presented to us is an offer which needs our consent. It's all based on contract law. So that's the role we are playing in the public, the person, the last name. So by correcting our status, we correct our standing, and we inner stand as a living being on this earth. So we also look for innovative forms of organizing communities, and we need to have a healthy distrust in any politician, because they all have an agenda. The political system doesn't serve us anymore in the future. So on the physical level, there will be a fundamental change in all socially relevant system structures, the financial system, new education system, the health system, and we will see a disclosure of advanced technologies in the near future. as well as a disclosure of the true history of humanity. Because what we've been told so far, it's all been a lie. On a subtle level, a shift of consciousness can be felt as subtle vibrational shifts or energies. One could feel more alive or more tired, is possible too. And we need to be more balanced, come into a more balanced state and connect more with nature, be grounded. So what is really a paradigm shift? It's actually stages of an evolving consciousness. Human consciousness is evolving and goes through stages or levels. It's like children growing up and growing into adults and mature adults. And it goes in spirals, it moves in spirals. This is how we transform our fears. And I would call it growing up, waking up, and showing up. Growing up means that consciousness is moving from egocentric, it's all about me, to ethnocentric. It's about us, our group against that group, to world-centric, finally waking up that it's all of us. And finally to cosmocentric, which includes all of life. And that's a way of viewing how we view and perceive reality in our experience. So then basic steps and levels how consciousness is evolving. And then waking up. What we need to do in 2024, we need to soften our focus on the content of experience to realizing and connecting with that which is aware or knows our experience. It's a big difference. And showing up, it results into showing up, which means from moment to moment, embodying or connecting to aware presence and responding rather than reacting. Respond always has a little gap where we just step into the witnessing presence instead of being on autopilot and reacting towards life circumstances. And this is really our freedom. This is expressing our freedom. So this paradigm shift means to develop the capacity to see reality from a next higher level of consciousness, a more inclusive realization, seeing and sensing life through a wider lens of awareness. And there are really, from my point of view, there are three main things we can focus on in the new year. It's our health, the money, and community. Money in a sense that we are stepping into a decentralized form of independent resources or sustainability. The word money is not really appropriate anymore in the future too. So it's all about self, but in the sense of self-awareness, self-responsibility, and self-determination. And for self-awareness, we need to investigate or going deep down the rabbit hole of answering, finding or contemplating answers to the questions, who am I? Why am I really here? And how can I find lasting peace and happiness? Self-responsibility is self-correcting as well. It's shadow work, deep shadow work and self-inquiry. I've written 2 guides if you want to have them just get in contact with me. I've got the email address at the end of this presentation. So, and also when I talk about health, finding out real causes of why do we get sick? What is the real cause? Are there really bugs that are making us sick or viruses? So I've written something about real understanding of why we get sick, and also some tips and hints for biohacking, being the best physical version of ourselves, what we can do. And also self-responsibility, I mentioned it before, an independent residual income. Self-determination is Yeah, get some tips, and but if you want some tips how to get out of the system or get the system out of you, it's probably a better word again. How to learn to live in the private, knowing who you are. Are you the person? Are you your last name, or are you a living man or a living woman? It has huge implications. And also, how can we protect our assets or income? We can have a look at trusts or foundations. Status correction, I mentioned before. I'm investigating myself, how we can do that, what's the best and easiest way to do. And yeah, an independent, decentralized way of money flow. If you want some tips and hints, just feel free to contact me. So I want to leave you with this last insight for 2024. And if you want, you take that to heart and contemplate this for yourself. And it's this. It takes courage being a rebel and shining your light, because you irritate the darkness in people just by being you. When you no longer live as a conformist, you threaten the entire fear-based system. When you don't obey the messed up society, you take your power back and inspire others to do the same. Every time you don't conform to the ways of the control matrix, you lay a foundation for freedom from fear and control. Every non-conforming decision that you make as an individual towards freedom and love shifts also the collective energy. So I encourage you, be yourself in 2024. Have the courage to be yourself. So here's my email address. If you want to get in touch with me for some guides or tips and hints for what I've gone through in this presentation, feel free to contact me. Here's my email address, rolfkarnert@pm.me, or go on my website, rolfkarnert.com, or on consciouslivingpma.org. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.